My presentation is, more focused on analysis of a single media structure in one country, namely Serbia. And I didn't want to bore everyone by talking about Serbia, blah, blah, how bad it is. So I just wanted to take Angelina Jolie, because she's famous. And I took her movie, her latest film, which is related to the war between Serbia and Bosnia, and which caused quite a lot of trouble in a way. And I'll be talking about it. But please, I just want to make this as interactive as possible because I don't have too much to say. My analysis was about Serbian press. So if you're interested in anything, if something's not clear, just ask. We can converse better than for me to give a monologue. It's more interesting. But to begin that kind of conversation, can I ask you, how many of you have heard of the Bosnian War? Almost everyone. How many of you have heard of Srebrenica? Half, more, a bit more than half. How many of you know where Srebrenica is? Are sure? Yeah. And how many of you have not heard of Angelina Jolie? None. So this is a kind of a mental image I guess most people have when they think of Angelina Jolie, this important, sexy person, making a film about something over there. So this is what Serbs were afraid of when the first rumor started that this, what was she labeled? The sexiest woman in the world is going to make a film in which she will portray Serbia in a bad manner. And the war, it's about the Bosnian War, of course, with the Serbian army presented as kind of bad guys, I'd say. Now, I didn't see the movie because it premiered 2 weeks ago here in Berlin. And it's been censored some places in the Balkans. We'll get to that. And I didn't get to see it because it didn't premiere in Lithuania. And here they offered it only with German dub. So I gave up on that. But it doesn't matter because I analyzed Serbian press, which was extremely rough to this movie, even before it came out, not to mention when it came out. So I'm just going to give you a little trailer here. Oh, sound. Okay. No sound?
Just you and me. I thought of you every day. Why couldn't you be born a Serb?
Am I a prisoner?
You're not a prisoner if you want to be here.
Are we so terrible we should be exterminated?
Out with your hands in the air! Or we will kill these women!
It's very complicated. One of your Muslim friends was in my scope. And I thought about you. And then I wondered, would she kill me if she had the chance?
She will betray you. She's not to be trusted.
Should I trust you?
Did I make a mistake?
No.
I think I did.
And so on and so forth. You get the idea. Okay. So, that was her first film. She's not acting in it. She's a director. It's her first directing attempt. So it's a really big thing in the world because she's the most wanted actress in Hollywood. So my presentation will basically be about what happens in a war-torn country that had a bloody civil war 20 years ago. And I will just try to present what are the biggest media challenges, in traditional media though, mostly, for Serbian journalists at the moment through this film. So, to begin with, this is the film. The film presents Bosnia under attack of Serbian army. And it is quite, as you saw, it's quite harsh, it's quite brutal. And what happened is when the first rumor came out, already the reactions were quite negative. And there was lots of debate on news portals of how it was. But then the yellow press came in and started bashing Angelina Jolie in every single way. And what happened in the premiere was really funny. So this is just the theoretical model I'm going to use. This is McQuail, one media guy. He just analyzes media through these structures. It's really good, like how the sources influence it, how the owners, investors, pressure groups, restraints and demands. So the more restraint you have, basically, the less freedom of expression. And so when the premiere happened, we had two news. I found two news in the newspapers. There was a premiere of the movie. It was quite glamorous. And the only thing they reported was, what did Angelina Jolie's dress look like? And so I was quite confused. What was the movie? Was this anti-Serbianism? So the initial pressure we see is from the government side to just ignore the whole thing and make as less fuss as possible. Because in Serbia, nationalism is something that's not really nice, especially concerning how much wars it caused. And this is how it was in the first premiere. Then the second premiere came. It was in Berlin. No, sorry, the second one is in Bosnia. It came and the press, it flooded the press. Angelina Jolie is asking for the dissimulation of Republika Srpska. She didn't say that, but it came from some source, and it was everywhere. I don't know how. Angelina's movie censored in Republika Srpska. It was never censored. There were some structures that made it difficult to come there, but it was not censored. And for a month, they had me believing that this was true, because I couldn't get to the real information. And only in a recent interview, after I finished my paper, she said it to a Serbian, like a week ago maybe. She made a statement like, I never asked for this, I don't know where this came from. So she actually had to, in a way, explain to Serbian media what was going on, that she never asked anything like this. So I'm just going to go through the coverage, and then I'm going to explain what the challenges are. So that was the first funny thing, from Angelina's dress to her demanding I don't know what. Then there was this storm of news from the Bosnian premiere in January to just 2 weeks ago when I finished the paper, when it kind of calmed down. There was a storm of news about how the movie is, in Serbian media, how the movie is the worst thing ever made in the history of film, how it is an abomination of art, of everything, while in Bosnian media, it was the greatest truthful revelation of everything that ever happened in that war, and it was the great piece of art. So here is one thing that Josh is not here. Josh was mentioning we didn't look enough, I think, at this conference. We look at government influence. We looked a lot at the influence of journalist unions, freedom fighters, NGOs, but we didn't look so much at audience. There was, though, our friend from Romania who said, like, sometimes we just give the audience what they want, not what they need. No, sorry, it was a guy from Springaling. So we sometimes give them just what they want and not what they need. So in Serbia, the audience only gets what it wants. it seems like a real problem. Now, where does this problem come from? It comes from a very difficult economic situation of journalists. Our journalists are more like, kind of, it seems so, they don't do any work because they're too afraid of the threats they're going to get. Basically, if you have a journalist investigating any issue that is in any way related to this particular war, he gets, I don't know, 10 threats for his life. And the government doesn't do much about it. So it's not as bad as I would guess Syria, Egypt or something, but it's a second world. It's very little protected. So our journalists, they relate to sources such as translations of foreign news and framing them, cutting them, blah, blah, blah. So, from the movie. Also, what I wanted to say, what was the result of all this media chaos that happened? This is just like 1 week ago, there was Serbian premiere. No, 6 days ago. Apparently, they said no one came. 5 people were at the premiere in Serbia. I don't know if this is true, because I saw so many lies already, so I have no idea what to believe in. And all the press had one single same news, as it did before. So I can only conclude that this is government influence. And now, of course, we can ask ourselves, why does government want such unified news to be all over the place? And this is the reason is, of course, not to cause any chaos. So they just, the message they got across, quite unified message, was this movie is bad. No one will see it in Serbia. No one will see it anywhere. You can just forget about it and don't make any fuss. So we see this, there was one theoretician called it Mediterranean model of media organization. Sometimes government can intervene anywhere when it wants to, and when it doesn't want to, absolute chaos. So in Serbia we have lots of press, and it's quite variated, which is the only good thing I could see when analyzing the situation. And we saw that in these kind of news. Different newspapers were reporting different things with the similar message, but it was quite variated. And then suddenly, when the movie came to Serbia, we see absolute unity. I doubt, because it's true, because they would have gone to see the movie. Lots of people I knew would. So I'm pretty much sure it's kind of a government influence. This is what we got. This is what the media, like, now we're angry at Angelina. She is public enemy #1. And just to return to this pretty analytical model, I talked about audiences. So what the audience wanted is just wanted to hear that this movie was absolute rubbish. And that's what they got. They got nicely cooked pie just to devour it and shut up. Then again, owners and government intervened. I talked about government. Ownership structure in Serbia is really funny and really hard to get into. And I thought it was only Serbia, but from our colleague from Austria, I also heard it's quite difficult to get to know what the ownership structure is like in even some Austrian newspapers. So I'm glad we're not the worst. But our owners are and were involved in this particular war. They were war profiteers. And the funny thing is, it's not only the owners, it's also the pressure groups. The supposed NGOs fighting for journalistic freedom are full of war reporters who were reporting about Serbian heroic soldiers killing the evil Muslims. So we have a kind of a nationalistic pressure from all sides. But then again, there was one bright light in the whole thing, and that would be owners and investor structure, which is mostly Central European. Watts Media Group is the owner of the biggest quality newspaper in Serbia. Another one is published by this Rienga. It's a Swiss media group. And like a colleague from Romania said, there's this new group thing. Like now it's not a TV station, radio station, now it's a group, and groups do have interests. So it's not a good thing, but in Serbia it was the only thing that prevented this. I would say. It was the only thing that shed a light and brought one interview, one really honest interview with Angelina, because all the other, there was about 50 interviews I found, and all of them were fake. It was so obvious they were fake because the yellow press just made it. Like Angelina saying, I know about your TV station. I'm pretty sure she knows nothing about Serbian media. And I know what you're writing about me. I'm pretty sure she doesn't read all. I couldn't read all. So it really obviously fake interviews that people just swallow. But when you have it in so much number, you can just ask yourself, what is the influence it has on the audience? So this all sounds like a pretty grim situation, and it sort of is. But to return to this, ideally, so in the whole this chaotic analysis I just presented, what a good solution for Serbia would be was to rotate the whole thing a little bit. Okay, we can't purge these war profiteers, they're really rich, and investors. Bring more European media would be okay, but then again, the worst thing I saw is these pressure groups, which is NGOs getting lots of money, and Serbian government, in a very Scandinavian model, gives lots of money to NGOs, like quite a lot. And they're full of people who were hate speech mongers. So it does seem pretty grim, but, well, I'm glad I attended this conference and I saw there are similar problems in the West. Just in Serbia, you can see the pros and cons of lots of things we were talking about in this conference, except you can see all the cons and none of the pros, but okay. It's a difficult situation, I would say, and it's best seen when such a sensitive subject is touched. So we have a Hollywood presentation of something that happened to kind of us. It's a Hollywood presentation of a war that happened in Serbia. And you can also ask yourselves, would you not be angry a little bit if, I don't know, there was a recent movie about with Meryl Streep about the Iron Lady. And I heard lots of British people were quite angry about it. Like,
definitely, yeah, very, very many. Yeah.
But here, it was not just angry, it was more like this. So the audience got what it wanted, and I still have no idea what the movie is like or if it's any good. And I tried reading I read some of the international media, and I found parts of what I saw in Serbian media, but cut out really smartly to make it into a bad critique. But apparently it's an okay movie in some ways, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. That would be it. Thank you.